Khabib Nurmagomedov is arguably the greatest mixed martial artist of all time. The Dagestani is undefeated in his entire MMA career, posting a perfect 29-0 record. Unbelievable. Earlier this month, a fan stormed the stage during a speaking engagement attempting to attack him. So what exactly happened? Today we're discussing this and so much more, so stay tuned for all the info. First up, let's get straight into it with Khabib's recent confrontation. Khabib has been filling his time recently doing speaking tours. Whilst in Harrogate, England, Nurmagomedov was on the stage speaking. As soon as he stood up from his seat, a member of the audience immediately got up and confronted the Eagle. However, he didn't even flinch, and security immediately removed the fan from invading his personal space. The guy was either a complete nutcase or a serious, tough guy? What do you guys think? Nurmagomedov later spoke to the fans and had the following to say after the fan jumped onto the stage. "Let me talk. Guys, I come from other part of the world here to see you guys, and I think I deserve some respect too. Thank you. Around the world, I have big support from my people who have same views like I have, and I really believe here we have same views, and please take care of your kids. This is our future. This is most important. Thank you guys." Fortunately, no one was hurt during the incident. In fact, it appeared as though the fan wanted to give Nurmagomedov a hug at one point. Pretty crazy. However, security threw him off the stage as he was of course a threat against the former UFC lightweight champion. Nurmagomedov, however, showed that he isn't scared of anyone, as he didn't even flinch at all during the time the fan stood up on stage. It's just another example of how Nurmagomedov fears no man. No wonder he had so much success in MMA. So what was the best performance of the Russian's career in your opinion? Next up, more news from Hurricane McGregor. Former middleweight champ Michael Bisping thinks Conor McGregor is trending in the wrong direction and is in need of some swift intervention, and we couldn't agree more. Over the weekend, it was reported that the Dublin-born MMA star allegedly assaulted Italian DJ Francesco Fanchinetti. Both Fanchinetti and his wife gave their account of what took place, stating that McGregor sucker punched the artist without provocation. Bisping began his remarks on the subject by pointing out similar incidents McGregor has been involved in, specifically the punching of an old man in a pub and the Machine Gun Kelly fiasco at this year's MTV Video Music Awards. Based on his track record, Bisping says there's no reason not to believe the version of events presented by Fanchinetti and his wife. His antics are becoming more and more embarrassing. Really? So if McGregor is once again out there causing a ruckus and picking fights with random people, what's causing it? Why is he doing it? Bisping was unable to provide an answer to this problem, but he's able to present some solutions. What do you think his problem is? Let us know down below. McGregor has also been in the news this week by claiming he made Nate Diaz's career. We know he's one of the biggest draws in the fight game, but we think Nate already had a career before the Irishman came along. What do you guys think about that? Some news from middleweight king Israel Adesanya. Next, it's fight week again, and the upcoming main event this Saturday features top 5 middleweights Paulo Costa and Marvin Vettori battling it out. UFC middleweight champion Israel Adesanya is no stranger to either competitor, with Stylebender holding a total of 3 victories over them. Although both men have lost to Adesanya in their most recent contests, Izzy remains an invested observer in the movements of his competition around the top of the division. So he'll be tuning in this Saturday night along with the rest of us, but don't expect to catch the champ betting on the outcome come fight night. How do I see this fight going? To be honest, like I said, if I was going to bet, I'm not too sure. Adesanya said on his YouTube channel, but I'll go first with Vettori. He sees Vettori's biggest weapon being his chin and that effing Lego blockhead. Language, please, champ. Speaking of Costa, he sees his path to victory is to get him out in the early rounds simply by bull rushing him or overworking him. He said it would be hard to pick a winner in this one, however, as they both suck. It's kind of hilarious. He mocks them both by calling them his children and condescendingly says he wants to see both his kids do well. Keep up the great banter and even better fighting, Izzy. How do you guys see this one playing out though? Next up is a transition to MMA on the cards for boxing heavyweight king Tyson Fury. Now at the summit of boxing, all that's seemingly left for Fury is to become its first undisputed heavyweight champion in over 20 years by defeating Alexander Usyk. There's also potential matchups in the likes of Andy Ruiz, Dylan White, and of course Anthony Joshua, who despite his recent loss to Usyk would still present a highly anticipated showdown if he gets past the Ukrainian in the rematch, that is. But in this era in which boxing MMA crossover fights are becoming increasingly fashionable, will we ever see Fury strap on the 4-ounce gloves? It's somehow almost funny to visualize Fury with his back on the canvas, throwing up a Brian Ortega type of triangle or sending out a Valentina-inspired head kick. But if the Gypsy King is anything, he's a man whose outward appearance belies his athletic abilities. With a body drawn upon similar lines of Apollo puddle of spilled milk. Fury looks like he should be a slow, flat-footed, plodding giant. Instead, he moves with the agility of a man 100 pounds lighter. His feints, head movement, and phenomenal cardio, in addition to a ring IQ that comes with boxing since the age of 10, are what has made him the greatest heavyweight boxer of his generation. And it's this athleticism that his father, Gypsy John Fury, whose uncanny likeness to his son could easily see him moonlight as the world's best Tyson Fury impressionist, believes Tyson could apply with success in MMA. He said, with the right training, he'd do very well. I've seen him excel in different sports like wrestling, so I've kind of got an idea what Tyson was from that. I know he can use more than his hands. Would you like to see the big guy take on Francis Ngannou? Sounds crazy, right? We wouldn't bet against it in these crazy times, however. News from the bantamweight division, so stay tuned. Corey Sandhagen understandably wants redemption. His only 2 losses since joining the UFC have come at the hands of some of the division's highest profile opponents. The Sandman lost the title eliminator to Aljamain Sterling at UFC 250, and more recently, the bantamweight contender came out on the wrong end of a split decision against TJ Dillashaw in July in TJ's comeback fight. In a recent interview, when asked about the possibility of facing off against Dillashaw again should Sterling still be out with neck injuries, Sandhagen claims he has heard nothing about a Dillashaw rematch. However, it could happen depending on how Sterling's recovery goes. He said he was excited about both rematches, but it'll all depend on Sterling. There's also the ever-dangerous Peter Yan to consider. Who would you like to see the popular Colorado native up against next time out? Let us know down below. And finally, news from the baddest man on the planet. Current UFC heavyweight champ Francis Ngannou says his negative reaction to a low-ball contract offer is at the heart of his issues with the UFC. Understandable, really, as we wouldn't like to get punched by UFC heavyweights for a pittance, right? The Cameroonian will defend his heavyweight title for the first time against Cyril Gane at UFC 270 early next year. The 35-year-old captured the strap with a superb performance against Stipe Miocic in March, announcing his reign as the baddest man on the planet with a spectacular KO. His time as champion, however, has been marred by what Ngannou views as betrayals by Dana White, etc. Not only was, quite unbelievably, an interim title fight arranged less than 5 months into his reign, Francis believes his employer did its utmost to discredit him in the lead-up to that fight. Ngannou's problems with the UFC stretch back years, from Dana White saying that his ego is so out of control to being perennially overlooked for a title shot before becoming champ. It's hard to deny that Francis has been underappreciated by the UFC. This, despite a much-needed re-energizing of the heavyweight division by spectacularly knocking out almost every man placed before him. He only has 1 fight left on his contract deal, and with a frosty relationship with the previous promotion hierarchy, could we see a move to rivals Bellator, or even a move back to his boxing roots? Who knows? For now, we just want to see Francis continuing his spree of obliterating the division, as this is arguably the most exciting time for the UFC's heavyweight division since Cardio Cain Velasquez. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and as always, feel free to let us know what you think about the current state of play in MMA and tell us your predictions for this weekend's fights. And remember to tune in next time. Take care.